Alright, ladies, gentlemen, and all of the things in between. I've wanted to make this video series for a while now, but I couldn't find the time. It is a not really a tutorial video, but more of a creation process video, if that makes sense. Uh, I wanted to show you how I create a character in Blender, using the cube method, of course, because sculpt to retopo is just very scary to me, to say the least. So, um, this is going to be a split video. This first part is the modeling process, shaping the mesh of the character. And the character will be Miss Mimicker, and she will be modeled in the typical semi-realistic, grotesque style. I've been doing all the Bam Bam models of mine. So this is a type of Blender video where you just have to sit back, relax, maybe get a piece of paper and a pen to take some notes to see how I create these kind of models in Blender. I've got the screencast keys over here so you can see what I do. So, the first thing you want to do when you open Blender, of course, is delete all of these things here. You press A and delete or X. And to create this character, you first of all need a reference sheet. I suggest drawing this character you want to model from two sides, from the front and from the side. But you can always make a top and bottom and back if the character has a very complex design. And maybe don't just make it from one side, because if you're not very experienced in modeling, your character might look very flat from the side. So what we're gonna do is go to add and go into image and reference. It may look very funny, but what you can do over here in the object tab is you can reset the rotation. And what we're gonna do is go into this viewpoint over here, and we can rotate this ref sheet. And we can also go into data of the image and go to opacity. I like to lower it into 1/10. And with G, you can drag the image freely. So I'm gonna position this front view like so, so it perfectly aligns with the middle over here with the, what's it called? I forgot what it's called. The world center, I guess. Like this. And we're gonna duplicate the image with Shift D. And we're gonna go into this view and press R and Control. The control is basically snapping when you're like rotating or scaling or moving something. Uh, so it moves on a like a specific amount instead of like a perfect amount, I guess. But you can also just go into the object and just do a 0 over here, and we can go into the side view and move it a little bit, and it is pretty nicely aligned, I'd say. Your ref sheet doesn't have to be ideal. It can have some errors. I like my ref sheets have errors sometimes. You can just rework this while you're modeling. And I also like to do like pick the image, and I like to do a front view. So it's like in front of the mesh that we're going to work with. You're obviously going to want to save this with Control S. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna like create the first mesh. So I preferably use cubes. So as you can see, I've went into edit mode, and this allows us to manipulate this mesh. And you can also do mirroring, so when you move a vertex or an edge or a face, it also mirrors on the x-axis over here, the green axis over here on the floor. You can also do y-axis. When you have both x and y, it moves around like this. You have even z, it moves around like this. Or like so. Or like so, but I'm gonna do x. As a reminder, A on your keyboard selects everything. So G is move, R is rotate, and S is scale, and basic Blender stuff. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna block in the character we're making. We're gonna move around the cube, and with E you can extrude your face. You can also do control, so it snaps along the axis like so. You can also do S. So I'm gonna just block in Miss Mimicker. Oh, hold on a second. Ooh. See, one thing you have to do is you're gonna want to toggle X-ray. So when you select vertices from this view, it selects everything. If you don't have it activated, it might not select everything. And especially when you're extruding, it's gonna do some weird things. It's gonna mess up your model. You're gonna have to restart all over again. So yeah, just toggle X-ray, and now we can extrude safely. As you can see, it extruded from the both sides. Now we're gonna just want to block in this character. So you're gonna want to save a few times, especially when you're doing this. Like you're gonna want to repeatedly save, so no data gets lost. So it's just Control S, very quick. I'm gonna have to extrude a head over here. Hold on. So actually, I'm gonna. So another cool thing you can do is when you do Control R, you can go into loop cut. You can do a loop cut like so, which basically splits your model in half like so. Now you can S to scale, so it looks a little bit smoother. And also a neat thing you can do is you can Control B, which goes into bevel mode. And when you use your mouse wheel, you can increase the amount of edges you have, the amount of loop cuts. We're gonna do it later. Looking pretty nice so far. Let me go vertex mode. Thinking how can I do them? I think I could just extrude it like this for now. And now you can go into front view. We can manipulate the model to fit with the front view of your character. We can also do a loop cut in the center like this on the z-axis. And when you want to model the limbs, it's pretty difficult to like do it like so, because as you can see, even if we have mirroring on, it's not doing the same thing on the other side. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go into vertex mode and X-ray vision, and you're gonna select all the vertices on one side and press X and delete all vertices. Now go into modifiers and search up mirror clipping. And what this does is now when you want to extrude from one side, it does so on the other. Now, when we want to extrude limbs, though, let me add a little bit more. There's more space. And when you want to move some loop cuts, if you press G, you can move around, but if you press G twice, it moves like so. It's pretty neat. Like so. So it aligns nicely with the limbs over here. Now, I'm going to select these faces over here, which will make for the limbs, the arms, first of all. Oh, goodness. Let me do this from this view. So. And one thing you really need to have is the Loop Tools add-on. When you go into edit over here, and preferences, and go into add-ons, you search up Loop Tools, and then you enable it. And then you have some neat tools like you can turn your selected edges or vertices into a specific shape. In this case, I want a circle. Seems like the body down here is kind of missing with the mesh of the arms, so let me move it a little bit. And trust the process. The most important thing about Blender, you have to trust the process. May look pretty damn funny now, but it will look amazing later. You can also, when you want to select a loop cut, you can do Alt and press your left mouse button. So, for example, I want to select this, instead of having to manually select all vertices or edges, I can just or alt LMB. So very nicely. Very nice. I'm gonna leave it like so. Looking pretty nice already. I'm gonna make the legs. I'm gonna slice this over here. When you go over here, you can actually mess with the smoothness a little bit. Okay, let me move this. Let me like so. And do a circle, and you can also modify how much you want this circle to be shaped. For example, only 50%. It's kind of a rounded square, I'd say. But if you go 100, it's a full circle. Now, can't see it here, but I'll handle it. Uh, Oops, face mode. Here I'm gonna try to use the bevel mode. See how it looks. Pretty nice, actually. Very nice. Very, very, very nice. Very nice indeed. As you can see, we're beginning with a low poly model. Don't worry. We'll get a lot more polygons. Here. A little big, I think. Go here. Let's make the calves a little bit bigger. Gonna make the legs a little bit fatter. Like a real slow loris that she is. They look pretty funny. You can also go over here and or we can S Y and it only scales on the y-axis. Look at that. The same thing goes with G. If you press Y, it only scales on the it only moves on the y-axis. If you press R and Y, it all only rotates on the y-axis, and the same thing with Z and X. Very neat. So let me SY and SY here as well. Oh, excuse me. Pretty nice. Pretty nice looking so far indeed. Remember to save. Already looking like her, huh? Oops, her butt went a little bit too far. Okay. I'm gonna handle the fingers a little bit later. So, kind of wanna work on the mouth, on the snout. Just move around the vertices a little bit. I Lighter. Okay. Now I'm gonna make a mouse. I'm gonna do another loop cut over here. Seems to also go into the limbs. Too much smooth. Ooh, good. And the way I do this is I go to rip region. Move these so it aligns with the mouth shape that we have over here. So, and I'm gonna select these vertices. The ooh, hold on. Why did it do that? Okay, there we go. So what I'm gonna do is just align these a little bit more. So, I think we're good now. So let me go back to the rip region option, and let me select these, not the corner of the mouth, just these. And I'm gonna do it like so. With control, so it doesn't go too far. And now we have a hole in the mesh. I'm gonna select all of these. I'm just gonna move them around. I'm gonna select all of these on the inside of the mouth. I'm gonna extrude and scale. So it starts creating this. Oh, doing that. Hold on. Maybe I'm just imagining. Oh, hold on. The butt is ripped as well. This is gonna start creating this nice mouth topology. And we can disable mirror view. I believe this will work if we're extruding without the. Yeah, it does. So I'm gonna block out the mouth. Gonna make it a little bit wider on the inside. Of course. Actually, can I do a flatten? I can. Oh, it keeps ripping. Concerning. Alright. Now we have a locked in mouth, though we can also let me disable the images. Let's up a little. Is what is it? God damn. Sorry about that, guys. I know what's just automatically clip in though. That's good. Go back. What we can do, mouth, is we can close the mouth. Hold on a minute. There we go. Close the mouth like so. I'm gonna manually do this by selecting all of these vertices. Oh, with F. When you want to create a face, you do F. So. Reshape it a little bit. And remember to sometimes select all of your faces and do Control Shift N, which recalculates your normals. So if for example some like all of your faces are facing on the outside and one of them is on the inside, you can do that so it recalculates all the normals to be facing one direction, like that music band. I think I'll get messed up because of it's moving. She's already starting to take form. So let me get the images back. Let me shape the ears. They're pretty small, so let me do a loop cut here. I think I can do it like so. Smaller. And don't worry if this looks a little bit weird now, because obviously when you have more polygons, you're going to have more control over how it looks. For now, it looks like this. It's okay. Alright, looking pretty nice. Violently saving every goddamn millisecond. Alright, so actually let's do the hands before anything. Like let's just at least block it out. Just like this. Let's do a just like this. Fingers will be later. Flatten here. Okay, that look. Let me extrude. Resize a little bit. Like so. How's that rotation on the hands? Let me check. Line that like so. Alright. So, what you can do is add more, start adding more polygons. We can do a subdivision surface, which makes the model look kind of funny, right? Mm. And when you go into edit mode, it looks kind of strange, but you can just press on cage and then you have full control, like so. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna apply. Oh, hold on a second, because there's the mirror modifier. I can never remember which way am I supposed to. Now there's a weird oh, increases. I think we can apply the mirror and then we can go back into edit mode and we can just delete the vertices. Just reapply the mirror modifier. And now we're cooling. Remember to calculate your normals. Get the image back. Let's just slowly fix everything up. Another cool tip is when you want to select the other vertices surrounding your selection, you can do Control plus or Control minus. Ooh, one of the most useful shortcuts you can have. I'm gonna be fully honest here. You can also go into sculpt mode and you can just smooth out anything you feel is looking weird. Like so. It looks less artificial. A little bit more smoother. Move the back sides like so. You can also go into inflate mode or deflate. Doing the opposite. Oh, okay. It's all right. All right. Just flip the normals inside out for some reason. Does that sometimes? Alrighty, looking like a goddamn animal, huh? Funny critter. How many polygons? Just gonna add in this for now. But there is 5 fingers. It's usually a little harder to do this with uh quadruped creatures, because if you have a humanoid character, you can easily just make the hand face on the rough sheet. Obviously, I could do that with this as well, but just didn't feel like it, you know. I'm gonna just figure it out myself. I'm gonna go into this mode. I'm gonna begin extruding. I'm gonna put it on the y-axis so it doesn't go on a walk anywhere, you know what I'm saying? You can just slowly make the fingers. Alright, looking pretty goddamn nice! Let's fix up the ears. Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. Just pull it back a little bit. Oh. Oh, that's funny. I'm gonna make the eye sockets. So, how I do it, my friends, is, select a few faces over here. So in this case, I'm gonna select these, I think. Hmm. I feel like the face is a little bit flat, so let me add over here a loop cut. Let me slide this a little bit. So let me just modify this a little bit more. Oh, to do that. Gonna tell my first outing her a little bit from all the talking. That's okay though. Shaping it a little bit more into that circular face shape we got going on over here, as you can see. We can do that in sculpting instead. Sculpting is a really good tool when you're in this kind of process. When you cannot do it too well in edit mode, you can just go into sculpting mode. Make your cheeks bigger. Facial cheeks, not the other ones. Her brows a little bit bigger. And let me get the cool. Oh, that's too strong. Here. Make the eye sockets. Let's go back to edit mode. I'm gonna select like a specific amount of faces over here. Let me actually select more. Hmm. Like, hey, let's make another loop cut over here, and now it looks. Oh, now I'm going to select all the surrounding faces. This. Gonna scale it a little bit. I'm gonna go a little bit of a circle, just a little bit. Gonna flatten it as well. This. I'm gonna extrude and scale it. Just relax. We just reposition of these vertices so it's smoother. It's kind of funny, but now you're gonna go into rip region and oh, oh, that's the wrong. There we go. Kind of funny now. Kind of looks dead, but okay. Okay, so we're gonna align these vertices a little bit more. We're gonna push them forward a little bit. Make the eyes wider. Move this around. So, okay, a little bit more. I'm gonna select all of these vertices around here. I'm gonna extrude again. This kind of forms the eyelid. I'm gonna extrude again. I'm gonna pull it back. This is now the inside of the eye socket. I'm gonna extrude again. Scale. And this doesn't need to be filled, but you can fill it if you want to. Looks pretty funny with the fair amount of polygons, but that's okay. We will reshape that when we are in subdivision mode, which we will do in a second. Let me just form the tongue here. And the inside of the mouth. Let me do a circle. Flatten. hard to see like that. Go. A little blocky tongue. Icky. You can always fix that later. Let me just him. Like this. So I'm also going to model her teeth, kind of like a Soul Wars. Um, the way I model teeth is that I grab a few faces. Though I think hold this a little bit closer to the lip, like this. So I select a few faces. You just get rid of the images. Hold on, let me hold this as well. These go. I'm gonna select a few faces like this. And I'm going to extrude. Kind of forms the like block-in for the teeth. I can also do is I can extrude this. You can also like press your numpad, like for example 2 is kind of like shows the camera view a little bit down, and 8 is a little bit up, and 4 is on the left, and 6 is on the right. So I'm gonna extrude a little bit like this. So maybe I could extrude this. See how this. I'm gonna shape her fangs. Yeah, this looks a little bit better. This looks funny. Like so. And you don't have to worry about shaping all of the individual teeth over here. I'm gonna show you a cool trick later, which will make it a lot more easier. I'm gonna shape the upper teeth and extrude this. You try to make it like go into the front. It kind of goes into the fang. There we go. Be cute looking. Also, we can flatten it. I think it's looking good. Like so. Very cute. So let's shape the nose. Nostrils are over here. Let me just pull this. Wait, let me go into sculpt mode. Browse a little bit further. Oh, that's vertex paint, my bad. So you can already see there's a nice crease forming around here. Which is kind of what we got going on over here. Pretty nice. Oh, hold on. Belly is a little bit small. There we go. Back to edit mode. Make the nose. Pull this back. Oh. Oh, okay, let's again. So it forms the hole. Sculpt this. It's a nice looking schnoz. Is that a good way to... I don't know. Has more depth. Kind of funny looking, huh? What a funny looking creature. Uh, Actually, let's work on the eyes. So the way I do eyes is I add a new mesh, add a UV sphere. You can decrease the amount of polygons over here in the add UV sphere section with the segments. I usually go with 16, but the eye looks kind of rough, so let's go with 20 maybe. Actually, this the segments is like, no, it's on the yeah, it's on the z-axis. So that's good. That's good. Her eyes aren't that big, so good edit mode, and let's I like to rotate this so the pupil is kind of easy to UV unwrap later. And I go into mirror and let's align the eyes. But if you think this is too many polygons, you can always modify that later. This is looking great so far. Amazing. So I also like to do is right click and shade smooth. We can we can also do the same thing here, but preferably I'll do it later. So we are now at a part of the modeling where we can safely add the subdivision. Kind of looks funny in the eye specifically, and this obviously adds a lot more polygons. Um, okay, let's go back to edit mode. Now I can properly modify, like edit everything, knowing how it's gonna look like. Let's go to sculpt mode instead. We can safely shape the character. This has to be a little bit bigger as well. Get the save. We can also go back to edit mode and we can make the height of the ears. This looking pretty nice so far. Looking pretty nice so far. Let's actually modify the a little. Alright, looking pretty good so far. We add a little bit more subdivision. The islands become more smoother. Over how many 30,000? Hmm. So let's work on the fingers a little bit more. Very cool. Kind of looking like Stitch. Kind of looking funny from the bottom. Well, slow lorises do have really strange looking. Are they looking like a real slow loris? It genuinely just looks like Lilo and Stitch. Those weird looking hands. So instead of scaling, you can also do Alt S, which inflates instead. Kind of looks like this. Neat. Kind of being bothered by that thumb. All right. Pretty weird looking hands. Go back to the feet. All right. Pretty accurate looking to riff sheet we have here, especially in the appendages. I imagine I was going to be struggling with those, but doesn't seem like it. So before we subdivision, we just a little bit of also regarding like removing loop cuts, uh when you hold Alt and left mouse click on on an edge like so, it will select an entire loop cut. Then you can do X and edge loops, which removes the edge loop and still looks pretty nice. All right, well, I think we are kind of done with the modeling process. Yeah, looking pretty good. Hmm. So maybe let me modify underneath of the feet a little bit so they're more three-dimensional instead of just like flat. Let me try in blob. How will this I just add a little bit of depth into the toes and the fingers. Ooh, hold on. It does kind of move it like yeah, but it doesn't matter too much because when it comes to like adding like creases and more texture, like more depth into the model itself, it's something that we're going to be doing with the textures instead of the mesh itself. You just add a little bit of depth just all right, well, I think with the subdivision, it's looking pretty good. Looking funny like that. You see the funny little looking mouth. And in case of also like the teeth, we will also handle that with the textures. So I believe that is everything when it comes to like we have finished the modeling process over here. And in the next video I'm going to show you guys how to do a UV unwrapping, which will be a pretty simple process, a pretty quick video. So, and after that is going to be rigging, I think. Yeah, rigging and weight painting. And after that, sculpting, like the multi-res option that we have. And after that, the colors. And after that, we have the finished product. So, yeah, can't wait to work on that. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.